Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me set the stage for you. Season 2 ended with so many threads dangling in the wind. Rhaena chasing a wild dragon in the Vale, Aegon fleeing King's Landing with Larys, Alicent secretly meeting Rhaenyra, and Daemon finally bending the knee at Harrenhal. Season 3 picks up right where we left off, and let me tell you, the show does not waste any time. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our breakdowns. The episode opens not in King's Landing or Dragonstone, but somewhere in the highlands of the Vale of Arryn. Rhaena Targaryen, Daemon's daughter, who's long been dragonless, her egg never hatched, has been stalking the wild dragon Sheepstealer across the heath. This has been a source of deep personal shame for her, and let's be honest, her father Daemon hasn't exactly been Father of the Year either. The scene is tense and primal. A sheep gets roasted by dragonfire, and as the beast feeds, Rhaena approaches cautiously, speaking to it in a calming voice. She climbs onto its back without a saddle because Sheepstealer is a wild one through and through. After a short struggle, she disappears into the fog, and for a moment, we wonder if she succeeded or been consumed. But Rhaena has done it. She has claimed a dragon of her own. However, the bond is far from stable. Later, Sheepstealer essentially throws Rhaena off his back to demonstrate that he remains untamable. But Rhaena, desperate and determined, sings a song and appeals to him, trying to convince him to return to Dragonstone with her. And in a moment that feels almost tender, Sheepstealer brings two sheep, one for himself and one for his new master, cementing their bond. Here's where things get interesting for book readers. In George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, it's not Rhaena who claims Sheepstealer, but rather a girl named Nettles, a 16-year-old bastard who left a freshly killed sheep for the dragon every morning to earn his trust. The show has cut Nettles completely, seemingly as a means of streamlining the narrative and giving Rhaena an increased role. This is a controversial change for book readers, but within the context of the show, it completes Rhaena's long-running arc of finally claiming a dragon, something Aemond had taunted her about back in Season 1. The irony, of course, is that Rhaena's success will soon become a catastrophe. At the Red Keep, the atmosphere is thick with tension. Aemond Targaryen, the one-eyed prince who betrayed and horrifically maimed his own brother at Rook's Rest, has discovered that both the king and Lord Larys have fled the capital. Aemond reacts with characteristic volatility. He drags Grand Maester Orwyl from his bed and threatens to execute him. Before he can strike the blow, he receives word that Larys has also fled, and he storms off in a rage. This is Aemond at his most unhinged, a certified psycho as one recap aptly described it. His pursuit of power is accelerating, and his mother Alicent is quickly losing whatever grip she once had on him. And then there's that scene. I know you've all heard about it. Alicent returns to the Red Keep and is summoned to the throne room, where she finds Aemond seated on the Iron Throne. He reveals that his brother's absence is an abdication, and then in what might be the most disturbing moment of the entire series, Aemond, mistaking his mother's affection for romantic love, leans in and kisses Alicent. She's left shocked and horrified. Olivia Cooke called the incestuous kiss fucking weird, and said Alicent feels really disturbed by it. Yeah, we all were.
I shall host a feast there, in your honor, in Black Caron's hall, as my uncle's head looks down from his spite.
Meanwhile, in a carriage making its way north, King Aegon II is in a pitiful state. Betrayed and maimed by his brother, he's coming down hard from his pain medication, Milk of the Poppy, and he begs Larys for more. He laments his fallen stature as king, a shadow of the arrogant ruler who once sat the Iron Throne. Their journey takes a dangerous turn when their carriage is waylaid by soldiers loyal to Rhaenyra. The soldiers demand that they kneel and pledge allegiance to the queen, but Aegon, even in his weakened state, cannot keep from being an insufferable snot. He refuses, and the soldiers prepare to kill him. It's at this moment that Larys reveals their true identities. Aegon tries to deny it, but Larys proves it by handing over the crown. He reminds the soldiers that delivering the king to Rhaenyra alive will bring them limitless riches. The lead soldier agrees, killing the rest of the travel party and taking Aegon and Larys captive. This is a remarkable turn of events. Larys, whose loyalties have always been a question mark, has essentially delivered the usurper king into the hands of his enemies. Whether this is a calculated move, an act of genuine loyalty to Rhaenyra, or simply survival instinct remains to be seen. But for now, Aegon is no longer a free man.
The reason this man won't swear fealty to Rhaenyra is because he is Aegon Targaryen.
On Dragonstone, Rhaenyra convenes her council. She shares the news of Alicent's secret visit from the Season 2 finale, a risky move in which Alicent offered to open the gates of King's Landing to Rhaenyra in exchange for mercy. Rhaenyra is excited about the possibility of taking the Iron Throne in a matter of days. The rest of the council remains skeptical. Jacaerys, Rhaenyra's eldest son and heir, is particularly wary. He warns his mother that Alicent's offer could be a trap. But Rhaenyra tells them that they will launch their attack in 2 days. She is eager to take the high road and end this war quickly. But Jace's concerns are not unfounded.
We'll fly to King's Landing in 2 days' time and take the city.
In King's Landing, Alicent has pulled off some trickery. She successfully convinced Aemon to head to Harrenhal, as he initially planned, ensuring that Rhaenyra's path to claiming the Iron Throne would be clear. But now, with Aemon having discovered Aegon's flight and claimed the throne in his brother's absence, Alicent's plan looks increasingly like a trap. Alicent's horror is palpable when she realizes she's lost control of her son. The Greens may have lost Aegon, but they have gained something perhaps more dangerous, an unhinged Aemon with a Godzilla-sized dragon and no one to restrain him.
After he claimed Vhagar, he forgot what fear was, but he remembers now. He knows that if he has to face Rhaenyra's dragons, he'll die.
Midway through the episode, we cut to a drone shot showing hundreds of green tents set up around the river. We see a dragon in the ranks growling as a messenger on horseback thunders past. The man waiting to meet the messenger is Lord Ormond Hightower, played by James Norton, flanked by a younger boy and a burly, no-nonsense soldier. Hightower receives the parchment, wrinkles his nose in apparent disgust at the messenger's smell, and breaks the seal to read it. Aemon says we are to make camp here and await further word. He shall join us in 3 days' time, Hightower reads. This scene introduces us to a major new player in the dance. Ormond Hightower is Alicent's cousin and the commander of the Hightower army. His presence, along with the unseen Daeron Targaryen, Alicent's youngest son, and his dragon, represents a significant threat to Rhaenyra's forces. The Greens may be down, but they are far from out.
Aemon says we are to make camp here and await further word. He'll join us in 3 days' time.
At sea, Lord Corlys Velaryon, the legendary sea snake, watches over his fleet. He had been maintaining a blockade of King's Landing on behalf of Rhaenyra and the Blacks, but now the Triarchy, now allied with the Greens, has arrived to destroy the Velaryon blockade. The Triarchy fleet is led by Shorako Lohar, a ferocious Tyroshi captain played by Abigail Thorne. For Lohar, this is a grudge match. She's determined to hit the sea snake where it hurts, sending half her fleet to burn his home. High Tide is a monument to the sea snake himself. Do you think his focus will hold when he sees his treasure aflame?
Do you think his focus will hold when he sees his treasure room aflame?
It is another devastating blow to a man who has already lost a wife and 2 children. But Corlys is also a badass. He lures Lohar away from the main fleet, sinks 2 of her companion ships through some fancy-pants sailing in a narrow channel, and then engages in hand-to-hand combat with the Tyroshi captain. Abigail Thorne is absolutely convincing as a leader of men and a serious threat to Corlys. The battle is spectacularly shot, with apparently almost entirely practical effects. The ship tanks and sets at Leavesden Studios were so massive that they overshadowed the new Harry Potter's Privet Drive. This is naval warfare on a scale rarely seen on television, and it is every bit as spectacular as fans could have hoped. Before the battle begins in earnest, Corlys has a moving heart-to-heart with his formidable illegitimate son, Aelin. The conversation is a rare moment of vulnerability from the stoic sea snake. He speaks of legacy, of the weight of command, and of the family he has lost. Aelin, who has long sought his father's approval, listens with a mixture of respect and longing. During the battle, Aelin earns his father's respect as a sailor and a captain. The question hangs over the episode. Will Corlys survive this fight? He's missing at the end of the episode. If this is how he goes out, it is a fitting end for one of Westeros's greatest naval commanders. As the naval battle rages, Prince Jacaerys and Baela Targaryen ride into the fight on their dragons, Vermax and Moondancer. They decimate the Triarchy fleet, their dragonfire turning ships to ash. But the battle in the air goes less well than the battle at sea. Early on, Jace's dragon, Vermax, is almost taken down by Lohar. The Triarchy captain has already demonstrated her ability to threaten dragons, and she's not finished yet. Rhaena, having successfully claimed Sheepstealer, flies him back toward Dragonstone, but as she nears the island, she sees the Battle of the Gullet unfolding below. Rather than continuing to Dragonstone, she directs Sheepstealer toward the battle, eager to prove herself and help her family. But Sheepstealer is a half-feral beast. He refuses to obey her. In the heat of the moment, the wild dragon attacks friends and foe alike. Rhaena is unable to control him. Sheepstealer attacks members of their own side, including Rhaena's sister Baela and her dragon Moondancer. And then, in the episode's most devastating moment, Sheepstealer attacks Jacaerys Velaryon and his dragon Vermax. Vermax is harpooned in the chest. The dragon plummets toward the sea, dragging Jace into the drink with him. This is the moment that book readers have been dreading. In George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, Jace dies during the Battle of the Gullet, and the show has stayed true to this devastating outcome. But the manner of his death, killed not directly by the enemy, but by the chaotic intervention of his own cousin's uncontrollable dragon, adds an extra layer of tragedy. Harry Collett has portrayed Jace as a noble, dutiful prince who carried the weight of his bastardy and his mother's cause with quiet dignity. His death is a gut punch, and it will have massive repercussions for Rhaenyra, for the Blacks, and for the entire war effort. Jace was not just Rhaenyra's heir, he was her most trusted advisor, the voice of reason who opposed her impulsive plan to fly to King's Landing. He ordered her mother's Queensguard to bar her door, keeping her grounded and safe at Dragonstone, and then flew to battle in her stead. His sacrifice and his death will haunt Rhaenyra for the rest of the series. Despite the tragic loss, the Blacks claim victory at the Gullet. Thanks to Jacaerys and Baela's dragons, combined with Corlys' skill at sea, the Velaryon fleet manages to defeat the Triarchy. But it is a Pyrrhic victory at best. The cost has been immense, and the emotional toll will be even greater. Jace's body isn't lost beneath the waves as it is in the book. Instead, he surfaces on floating debris, only to be pincushioned by 3 arrows from an unseen archer. He dies floating in the water, a casualty of his side's bloody victory. Meanwhile, on land, Daemon Targaryen continues his campaign in the Riverlands. He kills soldiers who dare to fight back against him. Jason Lannister has fled the battlefield. Sir Oscar Tully delivers the report of the battle to Daemon. Suddenly, a new army emerges from the woods. The show stoked some inessential mystery about who these soldiers are, but they turn out to be on Daemon's side. Specifically, they are the battle-hardened Northmen called the Winter Wolves that Jacaerys convinced to fight for Queen Rhaenyra at the start of last season. The Winter Wolves are led by Roderick Dustin, who brings Daemon the head of the Golden Lord Lannister, Jason's head. Daemon grabs the head and looks straight in the eyes, knowing he has won something significant. The Starks have finally joined the war, fulfilling the promise made in Season 2. This is a moment of triumph for Daemon, but it is tinged with irony. The Winter Wolves were Jacaerys' doing. He convinced them to fight for Rhaenyra, but Jacaerys will never know that his efforts have borne fruit.
We have come to die for the Dragon Queen.
Very good. We've got more lions to hunt.
On the other hand, Criston Cole believes Aemond is going to help them win the battle. He's the Dragon Man after all. But Aemond is too busy warming up the Iron Throne in King's Landing. Criston's faith in his prince is misplaced, and the Green's forces are left without the dragon support they desperately need.
He and Vhagar were supposed to have joined us back at the Antlers. If he does not come...
He has to come.
The episode ends on a profound loss. Rhaena, who finally achieved her dream of becoming a dragon rider, has inadvertently caused the death of her cousin and the destruction of her family's hopes. Sheepstealer, the wild dragon she claimed, has proven to be more curse than blessing. The Blacks have won the Battle of the Gullet, but they have lost Jacaerys Velaryon. the heir to the Iron Throne, the heart of Rhaenyra's cause, and one of the few voices of reason in her council. His death will send shockwaves through the Black faction and will fundamentally alter the course of the war. So, what happens now? With Jace gone, Rhaenyra's hairline is thrown into chaos. Aegon is a captive, but Aemon sits the Iron Throne with Vhagar at his command. The Winter Wolves have finally joined the fight, but will it be enough? And what about Corlys? Is the Sea Snake truly dead? One thing's for sure, the Dance of the Dragons is only getting more brutal from here. And that's the breakdown, folks. What did you think of the Season 3 premiere? Were you devastated by Jace's death? Are you okay with the show cutting nettles? And what about that Aemond and Alicent scene? Were you as disturbed as I was? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. This is Oliver with Episode Breakdown, signing off. Until next time, keep your dragons close and your enemies closer. See you in the next one.